Hey everyone, MacDowin here. Today we are looking at Midas Rex from Hasbro's new Fortnite Victory Royale 6-inch action figure series. I ordered this from Amazon for $22.99. If you'd like to own your own, then I have a link for you in the pinned comment below. Over here on the left side of the box, it shows us the accessories that are included. Otherwise, there's really nothing of interest on this box. For those who want to see the barcode, here it is. Let's get this figure out of the box before he turns it to gold. If you're new to the channel, welcome, and please subscribe so you'll be notified of future videos. If you want to help the channel out and you play Fortnite, please feel free to add my creator code to your Epic account. It's MacDowin. Midas Rex is a legendary skin and is part of the Last Laugh set. Released in Chapter 2 Season 4, this skin is part of the Last Laugh bundle, which can be purchased for about $30 in-game or at a store that carries video games. The bundle also includes Joker, Poison Ivy, and a variety of harvesting tools and back blings, and this set has been pretty consistently available since its release. Midas Rex comes with the Kingmaker harvesting tool. What's kind of interesting is there should be two of these because these are dual harvesting tools, but we only get one. I really hope that this is not what's going to happen in the future when we get harvesting tools that should be dual, that we only get one of them. He comes with his back bling, the Midas Crest. This is a pretty cool looking cape. There's a lot of gold and cream on here and a little sunburst of sorts. Nothing much over here, but yeah, this is a pretty nice looking cape. He comes with a second head that represents his helmet. That looks pretty nice, pretty good. We'll see how difficult it is to pop it onto his head in just a moment. We get two surprise accessories, a couple little guns, and they were tucked in the holsters on his hips. Just unhook the little strap and you could pull them out, tuck them in. Midas Rex stands about 6.5 inches tall, as you can see by that measuring tape. We'll stand him next to a few figures like Jazzware's Fortnite. We'll see if we can knock him down at the same time. We'll put a G.I. Joe Classified in here next to him, and you can get an idea of where he is. We'll swap out Havoc for a Marvel Legends. This is U.S. Agent, for anyone who doesn't know. I'm sure everybody knows. We'll swap out Cobra Trooper for the Mandalorian, so you can get an idea of standing next to that. And then last, we'll take out Mandalorian and bring in Jazzware's Halo Master Chief for the final height comparison. I would say this figure has about 32 points of articulation. We'll take a look at those now, beginning at the feet. So the feet bend down like that, and they go forward just like that. There's no rotation there, but there is a rotation at about where the boot cut would be, about calf area. He does have double pin at the knees. That's about as far as they can go that way. He's got a thigh rotation. Works pretty good, except for he's got these gun holsters that will get in the way, so he can't rotate his thighs all the way around, you know, like us humans can do. If you want him to sit, he can sit like that, and if he's going to jump out of a battle bus, he's about that far from it. If you want him to do the splits, again, the holsters are in the way, so he can only go up about that far. He has something different than some of the other male figures that I've seen lately from Hasbro, and that is there is no ab cut. There is a waist rotation and a torso, upper torso, chest rotation. I've gotten out of the habit of talking about it. So that's really fascinating that this figure doesn't. This has more of a build like Jazzware's Fortnite figures. And I really do like how this works, because you can get him to bend in all sorts of ways without that ab crunch, which is I would say is a little bit restrictive in posing. And when you get them to lean forward and backwards, or forward or backward too far, it looks really weird. The arms can rotate all the way around. These shoulder pieces are just kind of attached inside there, so they should be able to rotate with the arm. They might not sometimes, but whichever. If you want him to bring his arms up, he can bring his arms up about that far. He does have a butterfly joint, and it works a little bit better on this figure than the other figures, because there's some cutouts right there, and a little bit of cutout, so you can actually get him to... I'll do this. Yeah, butterfly works much better. Bicep rotation, double pin at the elbow, but we're going to talk about the elbow in just a moment, and a rotation and a hinge at the wrist. This is not like Lynx's wrist. This has the hinge on the hand itself, not built into the wrist. I'm going to do another video and discuss overall this entire first wave of solo figures. So I'm going to kind of leave my opinions out of it for now, and we'll just keep looking at the figure. So, and the neck. The neck is on a ball joint, so it goes like all over the place, up and down. There is a ball joint also at the base of the neck, at the top of the torso, so his neck can move around, so you can get some really great range of motion, I think, out of the head. So let's talk about the double pins, or this is pinless, so double pinless elbows. So back here, and you can already see this pipe, or this pipe, or this hose are separated. So you can bend the lower portion of the elbow up, and that works just fine. If you attempt to bend the upper portion of the elbow, and you go up all the way, the hose will come out, and it doesn't stretch really properly all the way back. It really doesn't. So it's a good thing that you can tuck these back in. You're going to have a little bit of hindrance here in how far these elbows actually can bend because of the hoses. Now on mine, the right one is the only one that pops out. I can pull the left one out. It doesn't seem to pop out on its own. So you'll want to be aware of that. By the way, when I told you he sat, he does still have a bit of a thing sticking down there, but it's soft rubber. So it should work just fine. Okay, we've got a head to replace. I'm going to attempt to do it on camera. So we get this helmet, which is not a replaceable face. Jazzwares did replaceable face plates. Hasbro does full-on heads. So his head pops off easy enough, and then you can actually see kind of what's going on there. I don't know. It's like a double barbell. There's a ball joint down in the neck as well. This seems to be very difficult to get on. I'm going to probably end up having to heat it up. One of the problems is, as I try to put it on, the neck kind of like moves around. And so trying to get it on is really difficult. So I'm not going to actually get it put on because I would have to go and heat this thing up. So what I will do instead, maybe I won't do it instead. We'll get him to stand here real quick. Sorry about that. I decided to take an unexpected break just to go ahead. I felt like I needed to put this head on. So the head is on. I had to heat it up just a little bit, so I wanted you to be able to see what it actually looks like. It actually isn't a whole lot further down on the neck than it was. But yeah, now you get the idea, and you can get a visual of what he looks like with this helmet on. I say head, but it's actually a head that represents a helmet. So if you wanted to, you could pop this off, put this head on, and have him hold that one. And it could be. Now, one thing I will mention is I miss the days where helmets are helmets. Why do we need an entirely different head? Is it easier to swap it out? I really like the helmets. I'll bring Mandalorian in here for a moment. I'm not going to take the helmet off, but it's really cool that instead of a swappable head from his human head to his masked head, that you just can put the helmet on. I find that to be really cool. And I get disappointed when all of these figures tend to have a secondary head. I just want a helmet. Just slide that helmet on. And maybe someone who knows about toy making can tell me, is it cheaper just to make a head? Or is it just because the companies think that we want that? And I don't know. Maybe most of you would prefer a secondary head versus a helmet. I'm not really sure. I just know I prefer a helmet over a head. Let's jump off that now and just finish wrapping this thing up here. So we'll we'll flip him around to the back. We'll slide on his back bling. Now this is a little bit loose. It doesn't go in all the way, but it goes in most of the way, but it's still a little bit loose. Then we'll give him his sword, his harvesting tool sword, his single harvesting tool. Not his dual. Yep, see that thing popped out now. We'll hook the hose back in there. So, I also find this figure just a little bit difficult to get standing. I guess it's a little gruesome having that head. We'll move that head away. But there he is with his sword in hand. Do you really want to mess with this King Midas? I don't think you should. He's going to turn you to gold. You could also unhook the strap, pull out a gun, and slide it in his hand. Pretty easy. He's got a mixture softness. He's got maybe a medium hard hand. What I mean by that is it's harder, the rubber or the plastic around the fingers is harder than Link's, but softer than Ripley. And that's really strange that I have to say it that way. And just before I wrap this up, I forgot that there is something I didn't do that I will do now, and that is stand the other figures next to him so you can get an idea of how tall he is. So there's Ripley, there's Chaos Agent, and finally Lynx. Kind of right there. And that's actually accidentally perfect from small to tallest, or shortest to tallest. Did not plan for that to happen. So that's an interesting visual for you. She is actually roughly about 6 inches, and Chaos Agent's about 6 1/4. Midas is about 6 1/2, and Ripley is getting close to that 7 mark at 6 3/4. It's really interesting, the variety of heights we've gotten with these figures. It's just really funny. So overall, I really like this skin in game. I'm not a huge fan of Midas in general, but I do like this skin. It's the armor that really calls back to fantasy and knights and kings and so forth that really gets me going with this line of figures. I'm not a huge fan of the mask, but or the helmet, it's what it is. You could probably find a variety of heads that you could swap this out for, maybe paint it, make it really cool. I like this as a figure. I think this figure is very well done. I really do like no ab crunch. I find that, and you could do some really strange poses with this. I mean, that's kind of weird. This is something you can't do with an ab crunch. There are pros and cons to an ab crunch. There's pros and cons to non-ab crunch. And I just find a lot more pros than cons to a non-ab crunch figure. I find that I can pose and do so much more with a figure without it. So I'm super excited now about this figure because of that. So anyway, I think that's about it. I don't think I've got much more. I like this figure, and I think you will too. I do like, really, that the guns are removable from the holsters. That's something I've wanted from some action figure lines for a while. So that's really awesome. Anyway, now it's your turn. What do you think about this figure? Leave your thoughts in the comments section below. But before you go, check out the review of all the other figures, the other 3 figures scattered around the corners of this video screen. Because, yeah, these are really cool. And if you haven't checked out, or if you've missed one somehow, then yeah, click on 1, click on 2, click on 3, whichever. But anyway, thank you for watching. Please like this video and share it everywhere if you found it helpful at all, because it helps the channel to grow. I will see you in the next video.